Right now, in a News 3 Now exclusive, the family of the UW track athlete who died by suicide last year speaks out about raising awareness and prevention. Also, coming up in the next 15 minutes, the Capitol Square comes alive for the return of the Dane County Farmers Market downtown. But first, it may have felt like summer today, but Julian's tracking an alert day, with it bringing a blast of winter. That's all coming up at 10. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Arman Rahman. Well, it was another warm summer-like day today, but of course it's Wisconsin, so all good weather comes to an end. Guess what? Snow is on the way. Let's head outside to our Julian Seawright for our first warm forecast, tracking an alert day. Julian? That's right. So we're going to be watching for an alert day coming in just 24 hours from now. We're going to be watching for accumulating snowfall throughout much of southern Wisconsin. But folks, the snowfall amount is still going to be varying, but we're looking for about 2 to 6 inches throughout much of southern Wisconsin, but even higher totals or even near the 6-inch mark just north and west of Madison. Now, this is going to go into effect once we start around Sunday evening, Sunday night, going into early Monday morning. So just note, we're going to be dealing with more rain throughout the rest of tonight and throughout Sunday morning and afternoon. But once we get into the evening, nighttime hours, some areas are going to start to see some snowfall, and then that snow will start to stick. We're looking at between overnight into Sunday, going into our early Monday morning. But as of right now, we have winter storm watches in effect for areas all west and north of Dane County. That's the blue on your screen. That will be in effect from 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. going into our Monday. And outliers, which is parts of Iowa and northwestern side of Illinois, are under a winter weather advisory for the same timeline. Now, taking a look at, we also have freeze watches for northern Illinois and for southeastern parts of Iowa. Now, the rain. This is the first wave of storms and potentially even active weather that we're going to be dealing with for tonight. It's starting to make its way into Dane County as we get closer to the rest of our Saturday night. So if you're going to be heading out tonight, make sure you bring some rain gear and are prepared for a bit of some soggy weather and even some thunderstorms that could be not only strong, but potentially even severe. We'll be walking through these storms and how much snow we're going to be expecting in just a few moments. Until then, back to you guys. Thanks, Julian. And as you prepare for the weather switch-up, stay up to date with our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Well, this week marks 1 year since UW-Madison track star Sarah Schultz ended her own life. Now, her family is back in Madison to share her story with the world in the hopes of making change. Braden Ross reports.
Sarah was sweet, funny.
Sarah Schultz was a star student athlete.
She was always up for a good time.
Passionate about politics and making the world a better place.
Super adventurous.
Yeah.
She loved to travel.
But she, like many, struggled in silence.
I don't think we ever realized how much pressure that was on her.
1 year ago, Sarah died by suicide. She was 21 years old.
We were a mess. And there's no way we thought we would probably it'd be
back.
possible to even be here and talk about it.
But now her family is ready to share her memory with the world.
I think there's power in telling Sarah's story. Hopefully, in sharing our family's story, it will empower people to have deeper conversations within their own family.
1 year after her passing, they're back in Madison, sponsoring the Out of the Darkness campus walk for suicide prevention.
When we found out about it, it just sort of felt like, being that it was on the 1 year anniversary of Sarah's death, that it meant even more for us to be here and to support it.
We're incredibly grateful that her family wants to use that loss to bring awareness to the topic and support the community that Sarah was a part of.
After her death, Sarah's parents, Bridget and Scott, started the Sarah Schultz Foundation, pushing for better mental health resources, especially for student athletes.
It needs to be recognized that their mental health needs to be taken care of just as much as their physical health.
They say working for change has helped them find meaning in their tragedy.
So many people have reached out to us and helped us that for us to be able now to try and maybe help some other people is just, I mean, that provides healing in itself. So.
Yeah.
For News.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, you can call the 988 hotline for help. Authorities in Belleville peacefully arrested a woman at a downtown bar this morning after an hours-long standoff. According to the Dane County Sheriff's Office, deputies received a call around 2 a.m. for a domestic incident, but arrived to find only one of the people involved. They then received another call for an armed woman who barricaded herself inside the Dam Bar on East Main Street. Over the course of negotiations, she fired 6 gunshots. Around 10:15 a.m., she was taken into custody without injury to herself or others.
We had inserted our robots into the building and to do the negotiations, but we don't have that level of detail to know at that time where they're all fired.
The deputy sheriff confirmed the woman was one of the people involved in the domestic incident from earlier and that there is no danger to the public. Tenants living above the bar had to evacuate but were allowed back in once deputies cleared the scene. Authorities say a 67-year-old man from Montello has died today after crashing his motorcycle into a tree in Marquette County on Wednesday. According to the county sheriff's office, 67-year-old Michael Carlson was not wearing a helmet riding on County Highway C in the town of McCann when he lost control going around a curve and collided with a tree Wednesday afternoon. He was taken to UW Hospital for life-threatening injuries, and today he died there. The crash remains under investigation. In Cameron, Wisconsin today, hundreds gathered to honor the lives of the 2 police officers killed in the line of duty last week. 23-year-old Hunter Scheel was from Cameron, and officials say he was the first officer killed in the line of duty in the village's history. 32-year-old Emily Breidenbach was from Chautauqua. Family and co-workers gave touching testimonies to each fallen officer's character.
Today we honor our sister. We know it hurts, and we know it hurts deeper. Emily would want us to stay strong and honor her by completing our mission. Quit snotting her.
The 2 were killed when the traffic stop they were conducting last Saturday resulted in a shootout. The driver they pulled over also died. New Mexico police have released body cam videos showing what happened when 3 officers responded to a call and showed up at the wrong address. The homeowner was shot dead. We do want to warn some viewers may find this video disturbing. CBS's Michael George has more.
A knock on the wrong door
Farmington, please.
ended with deadly consequences.
Hey, hands up!
It happened April 5th when dispatchers in Farmington, New Mexico got a call about a domestic disturbance. Someone on the call clearly states the address.
5308 Valley View.
But Farmington officers go to 5305 Valley View instead. Body camera footage shows the officers knock and identify themselves. But then they question whether they're at the right home.
5308 Valley View Avenue, had a confidence factor. Don't tell me I'm wrong.
Seconds later, the homeowner opens the door.
Hey, hands up!
Farmington police say all 3 officers opened fire, killing 52-year-old Robert Dotson. His teenage daughter called 911, likely not realizing her dad was shot by officers themselves.
There were gunshots in the house and my dad was shot.
Farmington's police chief says Dotson pointed a gun at an officer before they fired.
It starts with us not getting off to a good start and making a mistake and going to the wrong address. But it ends, honestly, with something you just don't see very often, with Mr. Dotson coming out with a gun and then pointing it at the officers.
Neighbors call it a tragedy.
It could have been any of us doing this exact same thing, trying to protect our family.
The state police are now investigating.
I'm extremely remorseful over the whole event, and I extend nothing but my deepest condolences to the Dotson family.
And Farmington police say the 3 officers' names are not being released at this time. They are all on paid leave. And Washington Post data shows that fatal police shootings in the U.S. actually reached a record high last year, with 1,096 reported in the U.S. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, it's as if both political parties have planted a giant flag in the Midwest, declaring it Battleground Zero for the 2024 presidential race. Democrats this week chose Chicago as their national convention site after the RNC announced they'd be selecting Milwaukee. Political science professor David Cannon says the move is incredibly unusual.
You have to go back to 1972 is the last time this happened. In fact, in 72, you had both parties having their conventions in Miami, Florida. But since 1972, we haven't seen anything like this, having both parties pick two cities that are so close together geographically.
But one question remains. Do voters actually care about where these conventions happen, events that are typically full of inside political baseball? Professor Cannon gets into that with Naomi Coles this week on For the Record tomorrow at 10:30. Well, coming up, it was the perfect summer-like day for the return of Saturdays on the Square, and a record one for many vendors.
Community is helping each other, making sure your neighbor is taken care of. At Lake Ridge Bank, community is who we are. We take pride in being a community bank, strengthening relationships and investing in the places we come from. It's why we are who we are. Lake Ridge Bank. Go far, go together.
At Fearing's Audio-Video Security, our people, vision, and values drive superior technology solutions that result in great customer experiences. Choosing the right technology solutions can be daunting. From consultation and design to installation and support of your AV and security systems, our team communicates and guides each step. Fearing's Audio-Video Security, making a difference for our customers and our world. Visit fearings.com.
The stylish Chevy Equinox RS. And Chevy Blazer RS.
So captivating.
You don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer.
The crowd go crazy.
The RS family of Chevy SUVs. Definitely worth a follow. Well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Equinox models. Or get $1,500 cash allowance. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin knocks out symptoms from over 200 allergens without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Live Claritin Clear.
The biggest sale of the season is happening right now at LL Flooring. Save up to 25% on more than 300 floors at the Dream Floor event. Get the right floor in the right style at the best price. And our experts make finding the floor of your dreams a dream come true. Don't miss your chance to save up to 25% on more than 300 floors. And with 24 months special financing, you can start today. The biggest sale of the season ends April 18th. Save more on the right floor at LL Flooring's Dream Floor event. From inspiration to installation, LL Flooring.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather. Trust the experience of Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti and the First Warn Weather team to help you plan your day and alert you whenever and wherever you need it. First Warn Weather, keeping you ahead of the storms.
Today, a new activity center opened in Madison to allow everyone to play and explore regardless of their ability. The Keep Calm sensory zone on the north side features 3 levels of experiences adaptable to the senses of touch, smell, sound, and more. They're designed for children and adults who either need help coping with emotions or stress or live with a mental health disorder like ADHD or autism.
Every sense we cover here at the sensory zone, but the kid gets to explore it in their own way. But we've got kids as young as like 10 months that was here today, and we've had adults come today just to have a fun time, to be able to experience their senses and be able to play.
The owner says she moved into her own building with the help from the Wisconsin Women in Business Coalition. Well, if you tried to drive downtown this morning, you may have noticed quite a bit of traffic, but it was all for a good reason as the Dane County Farmers Market returned to Capitol Square for the season. McKenna Alexander has that story.
Saturdays on the Square, a Madison staple, returned this morning with dozens of new vendors.
Say hello, I am a balloon.
It was all fun and games on Saturday morning as farmers market visitors enjoyed a variety of products, including bakery goods, vegetable and fruits, fresh plants and flowers, meat, cheese, and so much more. One vendor says today's turnout was the most he's seen in his entire career.
It was probably the hectiest or the busiest market of my entire market career. we had, I have a sheep gouda called St. Dorian, which was sold out by 9:30, which has never happened in the past. Not that it's not a good cheese, but people were just coming and buying. They were not coming and window shopping and then disappearing and just trying samples. They were actually buying.
But it wasn't just vendors and attendees filling the space Saturday morning, as a variety of other entertainment could be found around the square.
My name is Neil, the Real Deal Balloon Twister, and I twist so quick I make Madison sick. We are having such a great time. It's sunny. Everybody's smiling, and it's just a beautiful day.
Saturdays on the square will be open until November 11th, at which point the farmers market will move into the Garver feed mill during the winter months. If you'd like to check out the farmers market for yourself, you can visit the vendors at Capitol Square each Saturday from 6:15 in the morning till 1:45 in the afternoon. But it's best to go early as goods sell out fast. Another reminder, remember to bring cash and good walking shoes so you're able to spend time walking around the square to see what all the vendors have to offer.
And we are now looking from good weather for farmers markets to looking at some wintry weather returning. Alert days in the forecast from our Saturday night into Monday morning. So let's get right into it. We're going to be watching for southern Wisconsin and areas mainly north of Dane County into the west to be seeing 2 to 6 inches of accumulated snowfall, especially by the time we get into our Monday morning. So we could be seeing some issues throughout much of southern Wisconsin once we get into our Monday morning. And folks, that's just a part of the forecast that we're going to be dealing with, because we also got to deal with what's happening outside as of right now. But until we get there, we have a winter storm watch in effect for areas just west of Dane County. That's going to be from Sunday night into our Monday morning, 7 p.m. to Monday at 10 a.m. And our friends on the outside, we're looking at Iowa and parts of Illinois that are under a winter weather advisory. Freeze watch is also in effect for northern Illinois and for southeastern parts of Iowa. That's going to be for the same time frame. So let's talk about what's happening tonight, and then let's get into the snow. As of right now, a pretty strong cell of storms is starting to move its way along I-39, just north of Janesville as of right now. But you can see this rain in itself is spreading rather rapidly throughout southern Wisconsin. Is going to be looking to reach Madison within probably the next few minutes. We're going to be looking at some rain. Could even see potentially some heavier rainfall getting into the rest of tonight. So if you are out tonight, just make sure that you have your raincoats and you're prepared for some soggy conditions for the rest of our Saturday. Heading into Sunday, not going to be seeing too much in terms of improvements. We're looking at mainly just some light showers though overnight. Could see a pickup of some thunderstorms into the overnight hours, but around 7 o'clock, a bit of some breaks, but still widespread showers and thunderstorms are what we're going to be expecting until we get into our Sunday around noon hour. We're looking at a bit more moderate rainfall just west of Madison, but temperatures is what we need to be paying attention to. See how cool and chilly things are around noon? Well, it's just going to get colder as we get into the rest of our afternoon. We're seeing that break up. Temperatures falling into the upper 30s. That's where we're seeing a bit of that mixing just to the southwest of us here in Dane County. So from Platteville, Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, Viroqua, excuse me, is where we're going to start to see some of that snow starting to develop and change over, which is going to start to spread even more so as we get into later parts of our Sunday nights. It's going to be after the dinner time. A few flakes are going to be sticking around. Now, the first initial wave of snow, we're not looking for it to accumulate too much, but what happens is going to be overnights, where we're going to see those temperatures just stay near the freezing point and even colder, where it's going to be a bit more widespread. On top of it, the wind speeds, the heavy, wet snow that we're going to be seeing is going to look to create a bit more of those accumulations that will cause some issues on the roadways as we get into our Monday morning. Heading into our Monday afternoon, it's finally looking to start to break up just a bit. Now, how much snow we're going to be anticipating? Around 3 to 6 inches for us here in Dane County, but to the northwest is where we're watching for potentially even more. Some areas could see close to a foot of snowfall. Now, in terms of rain, we're looking for a good soaker from this system. About 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall around much of southern Wisconsin, some areas even to 3/4. Take a look at our 10-day forecast. Folks, make sure that your winter gear is close by because you're going to need it heading into Monday. Upper 30s. It's going to be a cold one. But the good news is, well, I guess not good news, because it's a bit of a take it out of the closet and then putting it back in the closet, because now we're going to be seeing those spring-like temperatures rolling back in, Armand, as we see those 50s. We're going to need the rain gear next week, though, because we are looking for another unsettled pattern heading in from Wednesday into Friday of next week. But next weekend, at least it's a bit more spring-like than what we're dealing with on Monday.
Dude, I never take it out of, I never put it back in the closet. I live in the Midwest too long. It stays out. Winter gear just stays in a corner until I need it.
I guess I'm the meteorologist that needs to learn that, hey, it's always going to be winter until it's not winter.
It's just that guest that doesn't leave the party and just sticks around way too long. That's what winter is here in the Midwest. You should
Fair enough. I guess I got to learn.
Yep. All right. Thanks so much, Julian. Well, having to throw away uneaten food from the fridge is like throwing away money right in the garbage, something that's even more painful with today's high food prices. Consumer Reports offers some easy tips to keep your food and your money out of the trash.
Consumer Reports home editor and classically trained chef Paul Hope will do just about anything to keep his food from going in the garbage.
One of my biggest pet peeves is wasting food. Not only is it a total waste of money, it just seems unethical to me. So I go to great lengths to do whatever I can to use stuff up before it goes bad.
He recently repurposed leftover pork to make several meals for the week, something he does often.
Beef stew as a future topping on nachos is a classic. Hot dog buns into a dessert, that's another great option. Hamburger buns for grilled cheese.
Another great tip for saving, meal planning. When mapping out meals for the week, Paul often buys in bulk and buys frozen so he can just thaw the portion he needs. One way he makes sure expensive proteins can be used for different dishes throughout the week.
I keep food as plain as possible, as long as possible, because once you've sort of, altered the flavor of it, you really can't undo that.
Then add the unique seasonings to the portion you need for the day's meal. Round out the meal with any veggies you may have that are almost past their prime. When it comes to storing food, CR says keeping groceries in the right shelves and bins in your fridge can help cut down on food waste and save you money.
For your more expensive grocery items, such as meat and eggs, you want to store them on the lower shelves inside your refrigerator, which tend to be coldest.
And don't be afraid to use your freezer. Something like bread is going to last a lot longer when it's frozen. This is Marcy Whalen.
All right, supporting a Badger through and through. Why coaches and players, both current and former, showed up for one of their own. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Alien tape is strong enough to hold this fishbowl on a moving car. Just peel and stick and make anything stay in place quick. A wooden shelf, a basket to glass, rugs to the floor, and so much more. Alien tape sticks to brick, pavers, marble, tile, plastic, even leather. Nothing works better. Alien tape secures in seconds, then twist, pull, and rinse to reuse. You're dying to try it. Here's your chance to buy it.
Call 1-800-490-1347 or go to tryalientape.com. That's 1-800-490-1347.
Good news! This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Escape and get 0% APR financing for 66 months only at your local Ford dealer.
We are Dane County. We are Madison, McFarland, Sun Prairie.
We are Wanakee, Stoughton, Middleton, Deerfield, and everywhere in between. We are committed to being unique in supporting the value when families share the memories of family and friends at the loss of a loved one. We are Crest Funeral and Cremation Service. More than just a funeral home, we are the people you know and trust to help families before, during, and after the loss of a loved one. Learn more at crestfuneralservice.com.
Why are there 2 extra seats? I know, Uncle Dane and his giant beard.
The Volkswagen Atlas with best-in-class third-row legroom. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer for 4.9% APR financing for 72 months on a new 2023 Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport.
A quick update, folks. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Rock County and Walworth County. This is mainly the western side of Walworth County, just west of Elkhorn as of right now. But you can see that we are starting to see developments of those storms starting to move its way just south of Beloit. It's going to continue to track its way north of I-39. We're looking at wind speeds that have been clocked at around 60 miles per hour and close to about a quarter size in terms of hail. Now, the severe thunderstorm warning will be continuing until about 11 p.m. for us, so about the next 35 minutes. Now, we've been tracking these storms that have been starting to plume themselves in northern Illinois over the last about 25 to 30 minutes. But as we can see, it's going to continue to track its way just north of I-39. This is the band that we're going to be watching for. It's just south of Beloit, where you can see a bit more of that heavier rainfall continuing to move its way in. The good news is we're not looking for these to be very, very super strong or storms that are moving its way throughout much of southern Wisconsin. But for those who are in Janesville, now's the time to take cover, as we're going to be seeing those storms continue to move its way, tracking towards you as of right now. But since it's also going to be stretching just to the western side of Walworth County, again, just west of Elkhorn and near Walworth in itself, make sure that you have your safe spot for you, as we're going to be looking at these severe thunderstorms starting to move their way just north of I-39. We'll continue to bring you updates as necessary. Until then, let's toss it over to Jordan.
What started as a weekend to celebrate 125 years of Wisconsin men's basketball, it quickly changed to a fundraising effort for one of their own, Howard Moore. Moore, who both played and coached at UW, was involved in a tragic car accident with his family back in 2019, where his wife and daughter eventually passed away from their injuries. Moore and his son did survive the accident, but it's been a battle over the last 4 years. While recovering, Moore suffered a heart attack and is now seriously disabled. So when the call to action came to raise money for him and his family, it was a no-brainer to those that he has impacted.
He's always been a constant in my life, so any way where I can support him and his foundation and his way of raising money to benefit him, I was going to be a part of it.
Just another sign of the family that's been created with Wisconsin basketball from decades ago to now and into the future.
The power of the W while you're here wearing the jersey, and it amplifies 100 times after you leave. And I think this is another great example of, this university and this basketball program really reaching back in a true life tragedy to help one of their own.
Former coaches, players, family, and friends came in from all over the country so they could just simply do more for 34.
When I think about Howard, I think about his presence, his laughter, his smile, his engagement, his genuine engagement with people. He was just the kind of person I think you aspire to be like. And you see the example he sets just in his interactions and how he communicated with people. It was always so joyful.
He's been my biggest fan. I've been his biggest fan. He's been criticizing me at some point during my career about some basketball stuff, and I didn't take it personal because it came from Howard. And, our relationship is one that would never be broken.
The money raised will go toward Moore's medical and rehabilitation expenses, as well as provide financial stability for his son. More information can be found on our website, channel3000.com. We'll be right back.